Hi everybody, welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Gravois, and it is my pleasure to have at the desk with me tonight, as we are in the Nicholls State University segment, Dylan Harrison, who is the head women's soccer coach over at Nicholls State. Coach Harrison, good to have you at the set.
Thanks for having us.
And you have the, I would call it an honor of being the first sport that is going to kick it off over at Nicholls State. This Friday, you guys are taking on Spring Hill at noon on Friday. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I do want to ask this. You're a young man who is from Napoleonville, Louisiana. Actually, I don't know if you lived there very long, but I want to know how a guy from Napoleonville who plays collegiate soccer at Trinity over in San Antonio, then goes out and coaches around the country, ends up back in Thibodaux.
It's a little bit of a long route. Obviously, soccer hasn't always been the biggest down in this area, so it's a little bit of fortunate that our family moved when I was a young kid to McAllen, Texas, which is about 5 miles away from the Mexican border. So right away I had to find a way to fit in, and soccer was that sport. So I was fortunate enough to be introduced to it. Stuck with the baseball, had too many aunts and uncles giving me a little bit of grief about playing soccer growing up, so I stuck with the baseball as well. But I made a decision that this is a sport that I love, and it took me to some great places. It took me to Austin, Texas, where I went to high school, over to Trinity University, where we competed at a very high level, made quite a few NCAA tournaments there with that team, and then took on my coaching career from small schools in San Antonio to private school in Tennessee. But once I was given the opportunity to come back near my family while still doing what I love, I had to jump at the chance, and that's how I ended up at Nicholls.
Very good. And I would assume it's fair to say, if you stay in Napoleonville, with some schools in the area not having soccer programs and such, this was luck. This was fate that it worked out this way, right?
I don't know what I'd be doing right now if we didn't move. Yes, it's absolute luck, and lucky for me for a number of reasons. Like I said, getting to see the places that I've seen, but I think even more importantly, a lot of luck in terms of the friendships that I've made through our sport.
Very good. If you can, would you please give us an overview of your program? You've been there for 4 years now?
This is going to be my third season.
Third season, I'm sorry. Give us an overview of the women's program, and I know if you just go on the website at gocolonels.com, GEAUX colonels.com, you could find out a lot more. But as I've read going into tonight's segment, it's gotten better and better every year.
Yeah, we're a young program. The program itself at Nicholls has only been around, I think, maybe 12, 13 years. And so what we've kind of tried to do over the last few years, we've had some very good players who have been here and wanted that desire to make something and create something. And that's what we've been doing the last few years, is trying to start and establish a tradition that not only our players could be proud of, but our university and our community could be proud of as well. It hasn't always been a smooth road, and we've accepted that challenge these last few years of making it better and like I said, working towards what we feel we'd be proud of producing as a team, represent our university.
How does one find out? Were you in Tennessee right before this opportunity here?
Was.
Did you see, on a collegiate chat room or something, Nicholls State and bells went off?
Yeah, there's a few sites that advertise, obviously, collegiate jobs. NCAA has their own. And then, to be honest, having a mom and dad who both went to Nicholls and are graduates from there, there's also maybe a phone call or two made by them, let me know of the position being available and asking if I'd put in for it or even be interested. And so, yeah, it's something I had to jump at, like I said.
Coach Harrison, I don't want to put any pressure on you, but you get the chance to set the tone for Nicholls State sports as you're going to be playing this Friday against Spring Hill. Also another game at home, if I'm not mistaken, just a couple of days later against UL Monroe. Tell everybody about the start times for those games if they want to support you guys. People that may not have been on campus in some time and don't know exactly where your facility's at, kind of let everybody in on that.
Yeah, I mean, we are fortunate that we get to open up at the first game. Luckily, there's not too much pressure on myself. I don't get to kick a single ball, so the pressure is going to be on the ladies. But they've been preparing. They're ready for the 12 o'clock kickoff. it's the time that Spring Hill could come down and play us. So we're going to go ahead and run with that time. It's going to be a little bit hot, but our girls are ready. You know, they're ready to play. Like you said, they're ready to set the tone for the rest of our university. And then we get to go ahead, get a day of rest, and then follow it back up again with another home game at 1 o'clock against ULM, which was a great game last year. It took us into overtime to decide a winner. So hopefully we'll be up for another great in-state contest.
Very good. And I'm truly, forgive my ignorance on this, are the kids back in school yet?
Today was the first day of class.
Very good, very good. Your goals maybe for your program in this season, what you're looking to accomplish this year?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully my goals and through our kids, a lot of the communication that we've had for preseason, it's more so their goals. They're both our goals, and the fact that we've done better over the last few years, but none of us are content with where we are. We're going to continue to strive to get better. And we've got to step it up a little bit in conference. We haven't had enough success at the conference level. We've closed the gap. Losing to the conference champion 1-0 in San Antonio last year was a good sign that we're close. But as everybody that knows our sport, close doesn't always win you games. It's going to take that little extra effort, that little luck, that little determination to go ahead and get us where we want to be as a team come tournament time. And that's at the end of the day, I think that's what we have our sights on. Hopefully we'll get there.
Very good. Obviously, you're starting to do things, and I say starting, you've done it for the last few years also, as long as you've been there, getting involved with the community. I'm going to ask you a little bit later about Habitat for Humanity and that experience, and for viewers that don't know about it, you are the reigning Mr. Habitat for Humanity. But when it comes to you girls, they actually came into Houma, I think it was this past Saturday.
This past Saturday.
On 3/11. We call it the Lakes, where they actually play soccer in the Houma area. And you went through a camp, and we actually have some pictures of that. Talk a little bit about why you did it and what the experiences was like. And I think you've done it for the last 3 years, you were mentioning earlier.
Yeah, we've done it for the last 3 years. The great thing that we've seen and our kids have seen is that it's grown. It's grown quite a bit, and from meager beginnings to this last camp, we're fortunate enough to have probably close to about 140, 150 kids out there. The reason we do it is we have kids on our team who have played on those fields and have been there and been in their position. And it's kind of our way to say, okay, there's another level and there's something else out there. If you want to continue with our sport to get better and who knows, maybe play collegiately. Unfortunately for the guys, they might have to go out of the state, but for right now in the women's program, we have a great university that's right up the road, and we'd love to see those kids have something to shoot towards, and hopefully that's Nicholls State University someday.
I would like for you to repeat, we were talking at the break just a while ago, how many teams play intercollegiate soccer on the girls level, on the women's level in the state of Louisiana?
I think right now we have 12 Division I programs on the women's side.
And men, there are none?
There's not a single Division I program in Louisiana.
Wow. On the other hand, it is fun to go out. You girls have a great facility out there right when you're going on campus if you're coming in through Houma, so it's easy for the folks from Houma on that back side. Talk about your facilities a little bit, the things you like about it and the things that you would like to get to the point of upgrading.
Well, we do have a great facility, and the fact that it's easy to find. It's right there across from the football stadium. The exposure to us out there, being out there and training is, the number of honks that we get by people driving home on Audubon. I like to believe it's for myself, but I think if they're honking towards the girls more often than not. But it's a great facility, and the fact that this is probably the best our field's ever looked. That 3 weeks of straight rain kind of helped out towards the end, but we've even made some improvements to our field in terms of just whole atmosphere. We have some very, very exciting things that are kind of in the pipeline with our field that we're looking to go ahead and improve. Right now, what I do like about our field is that, even though we have a limited number of stands, I think the fans that come out there who bring their chairs and line up right there next to the action really enjoy it because they're not sitting far away from the field, and they feel like hopefully that they're part of what's going on right in front of them.
Very good. Now, when do y'all come in? Do y'all abide by NCAA regulations of a first practice date? When was that?
Yeah, we arrived on campus August 2nd, and our first practice date was August 3rd.
Very good. If people out there want to get involved, because the one thing I notice about all of the coaches at Nichols, no matter what the sport, you are not a shut door policy type thing. If people want to, corporations, anybody wants to get involved, y'all are pretty much open armed. If people want to get involved?
Yeah, we'd love to have anybody get involved, and it could be, from the smallest thing of any kids that want to come out to games and be a ball kid for a game. Let us know. Contact us. We'd love to have you out there. If we want to go ahead and set up maybe a little kids game at halftime to get a little scrimmage going on, give us a little excitement at halftime, we'd love to have that. So anything as big as, one of the things that we'd like to see improved maybe over the next few years is we're kind of restricted with our game times and having people come out to games because we don't have lights. So who knows, if somebody wants to step up and help us with some lights. We don't even have a name for our field, so that might even be a possibility to go ahead and do that. But I mean, there's so many different ways that we would love to have people get involved and also help you. If you know a way that we can go ahead and provide something for our community, a service or anything else, just let us know. We're here to help as well.
Very good. The World Cup this summer, obviously a lot of people got into it, including myself, enjoyed it very much. Do you see, and I guess we can even relate to the past, all the way back to '99 when they did well, do you see a spike whenever the World Cup comes around or there's a big tournament and stuff in relation to the girls?
I do. I definitely see a spike in, just the awareness that's brought to our sport, whether it's first-time viewers, whether it's people who have known about our sport but finally get hooked. The thing that I've seen is, even out there at that clinic and talking to a few friends, for the first time we have some young kids asking for those players' jerseys as a birthday present and everything like that. So just overall awareness and letting people know that our sport's it's there on the big stage, and not only is it there on the big stage, we're one of the top performers on that big stage on the women's side. And it was a heartbreaker of a game to lose, and we did a lot of things well to really win that game. But I think at the end of the day, the other thing that we could take from it is that's how cruel our sport can be at times. You could play a very, very great game and still end up losing the game. And even though it's cruel in that way, I think if you talk to anybody that's played it, that's the reason that they love it also. You have to go out day in and day out and perform to get the results.
I agree. You can't miss those opportunities when they come along. Switching gears just a little bit, but this is still a great reflection on the women's soccer program at Nichols State. I mentioned earlier, you are Mr. Habitat for Humanity, I think the Bayou region. And tell us a little bit how that came about. In July, you actually won the competition. And what does having that reign and title, what do you have to do for the next year?
Yeah, we've been involved with our team last few years. They did the women's build on a construction site. We've also helped. They started a 5K that's right there, goes through our campus. So our girls have been involved for the last few years, helping with the course and everything. So I believe that they got my name through that. When they asked me to participate in it, it was really, really hard to say no. And so kind of went into it. This is actually the second year I've done it. The first year, didn't know much about it, didn't know how physical some of the contests were. Musical chairs with grown men who were willing to tackle somebody just to go ahead and win was interesting.
And we must emphasize that this is for all men. I don't want to call it a beauty pageant because it's no offense or anything.
No,
but
I wouldn't have won if it's a beauty pageant.
But it's a I don't know, an exhibition of men doing certain things. And I understand you did something with the month of September. I never did quite understand that when I read about it after. Is that anywhere close to being right?
No. Each year they have a theme, and so this year it was Habitat for Humanity goes international, and so we were asked to pick a country that we want to represent, and I ended up choosing Spain. So we had to go in character, we had everything from Jamaica to England out there. So it was fun. I mean, if you go into the contest hoping to walk away with all of your dignity, it's not the place for you. I mean, if you can't laugh at yourself in that type of environment, you're not going to do well. And the people that I was able to compete against and who also took part in it were in the same boat. They're there to give back to a good cause at the sacrifice of our own personal self-esteem. So it was fun.
Again, it does represent your program, and it's a very good thing, obviously. One last question. You grew up, you said 5 miles from the Mexican border, obviously playing soccer with a lot of Latin descent. Do you find that helped you in some way? Because I understand that in different parts of the world, soccer is played different ways. Do they play the, I hate to say it, American style, because they'll probably laugh at that, but do you think that you learned more maybe from growing up in that area than you would have maybe in some central part of America?
Yeah, there's different styles of play throughout the world. The thing that we kind of share with Mexico, I even spent some time down in Mexico and played down there. The thing that we share with Mexico in terms of style of play is that we're in a pretty hot climate. So some of the things that they ask their players to do actually translates to our game in the fact of keeping possession, keeping the ball, being good on the ball. Those are some of the things that we ask our players to do, because at the end of the day, you can't run all day long, especially in the 100-degree weather right now. The ball doesn't get tired, and so some of that has transferred into our kids' play. One of the biggest difference, though, is still the physicalness of our sport, both on the guys and girls side. If you go ahead and even look at the last World Cup, we still have some of the most physically gifted athletes available who are playing our sport right now, and that's something that kind of separates us from the Mexican game. But at the same time, the things that they could do with the soccer ball are quite impressive as well. So
very good. We're about out of time, but it was very good to meet you. We certainly wish you all the best of success, and obviously if we could do anything here at HTV, get any word out on anything, we'll keep people abreast of the situation and when you're playing at home. But again, this Friday at noon against Spring Hill, and then what is the start time on Sunday?
We have a 1 o'clock kickoff. We'd love to have everybody out there. Even after the games, come by, say hello. Come, if you have kids that you're bringing out there with you, stay after. Let me know. We'll introduce them to our players. We're a hands-on approach to our team, and we'd love to share win, lose, or draw our experience with anybody that's willing to come out there and support us. So please do. Very good. Thank you for being here. You can find out more about Nichols Soccer at GoColonels.com. G-E-A-U-X, Colonels. C-O-L-O-N-E-L-S, Colonel. I still can't figure out how you get Colonels out of it. .com, and just click on women's soccer, and you can find out a whole lot more information. Thanks for being here. Good luck. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll be back in just a second. We're actually going to talk more, Nichols, as the CAA had a big initial meeting just the other day. We were there and talked to Brandon Rutley. We'll do that after this break.